Potential clients won't come to your website solely on the basis of your excellent photography. You need to generate traffic. How do you get photo buyers to visit your site? One of the best ways to solve problems like this is to learn from someone who's already doing it. Installment 8 will show you how one successful photographer is doing it. I've come across a guy in the last 2 years we've been talking about. His name is Bob Pardue, and he lives in Lancaster, South Carolina. Bob, are you there?
I'm here, Ron.
Oh, good. Now, much of what I explained about the possibilities, and I'm kind of sketching out a little network of these areas where people could get into frames or for the prints they make. There are all sorts of possibilities. Did this sound familiar to you?
Very much, Ron. I decided a long time ago that just having up a photography site is not always enough, and basically you only had a couple of ways to go, which was either to go through a stock agency, which in many cases some of your specific photos get lost in the crowd, or you could put up a site with just photos and hope someone found you. There was an old saying on the internet that putting up an internet site is like putting up a business in the middle of a desert with no roads to it.
Oh.
And so you have to be found, and you have to have traffic. And those are two things that I've really studied over the last few years, to different ways to make my website worthwhile to have without, because it's a digital age. The website does have to be functional, and it has to be something that people are seeking for. And you have to really find how they're seeking for you. And this is where the getting found on the big search engines such as Google and, let's say Google, because they're the big guys.
Yes.
And so if you're not on Google, even the other websites, not to say that they're not totally useless, but Google's the big guy. And so I gear most of my marketing trying to get my site listed on Google, and if they happen to get on MSN or AOL, that's great too. But I gear all my marketing towards Google.
Now, you mentioned that in our talks over the last couple of years that you're now up to 33 websites.
Yes. Mm-hmm. If you have those websites on one server, you don't want them linked together. That's just a little Google plus there.
Mm-hmm.
Is because Google looks at the signature of those servers, and your web host. If you're using the same hosting company, then don't put a link between every site to every other site, because it just won't work, and it'll bring you down in the searches.
Oh, Google must see that as you're attempting to inflate your importance and your size.
That's it. Exactly, Ron.
Uh-huh.
And what I do with my photos, when I put a photo up on my generic sites, well, of course, I'll relate the photo to that page or that website, first of all. But Google doesn't penalize you if you just put the URL or the web address under the photo. And generally, I'll just put something like a byline almost with copyright www.lifestylepic.com.
I see.
To let people know where the photo came from. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we're going to get very much from photo buyers on that, but why not put it on there just in case?
Yes. Yeah.
Because they can stumble across it.
Now, you have worked up various websites ranging from medical to lifestyle, especially, travel. And also, what I found unique was your model portfolios. There are model agencies in every state in the union, and you have worked up a way to link them into your great network.
We did. As I said, the target market that we shoot for in the portfolio work, we try to find, and this is with anything, not just my website, but in any website that you have, you try to work up everything that's available in the interest area of your target. As we discussed before, the model portfolio site, we put up small sites within that site with their own content pages based on things like makeup, hairstyles, fashion, the model agencies. I actually even wrote a book about modeling and put it on the site that people can read free.
I see. So that could be if you had a hover ad and you're attempting to get the email address of people interested, they would opt in, as it's called on the internet. They would gladly give you their email address, and in return you would send them this booklet that you have written. And obviously these are people wishing to be models or getting involved in the model industry.
Right. We offer, basically to sign up, the book that I read, I want to clarify that, the book that I wrote, I've got it online for models to read free. But I do offer what I call a 7-page mini course that is geared just towards models beginning and starting out, to show them how to get started as a model. Then, and I used parts of the book to actually write my newsletter and send them to different parts of the book in most cases, or other articles that we've written along the way, and some articles other people have written for us.
Now, the theory, at least that Google has, and I guess we would all agree with it, is if you fatten out your website with interesting and useful articles about the very industry that you're talking about, whether it is the medical industry, the travel, and in this case the portfolios, Google feels that this is a relevant and worthwhile area for the visitor to go to, and also that persons who are in that industry commercially, that would be then the cosmetics people, the hair lotion and that area, they would put AdWords up on your site, and you in turn have a place for AdSense ads. So this makes a profit center for you. It doesn't have anything to do with photography, but it does help pay for some of that expensive equipment you use.
That's exactly true, Ron. And going over the AdSense part, one thing about Google, if you put up a photo on a page, Google will see that photo, I'm sure, if someone types in for that photo. But Google loves words, and they love relevant words. So if you're careful and try to keep the whole theme of the site the same, and that's one reason I sort of stay away from this on stock photography. I could put up one site and put everything that I've got on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that it would work as well as putting up a website for, well, as you mentioned, those travel, and I've got one up for medical. I've got one up for lifestyle, and I've even got one I'm working on that just has road signs.
Mm-hmm. You feel that a lot of photographers who do have a website are, so to speak, as the saying goes, leave a lot of money on the table by not taking advantage of some of the areas that they could be developing, hooking up with an affiliate, for example, a company that does excellent quality prints and maybe even has as a side business frames for those prints, or actually putting AdSense up on the ads, on the pages themselves, or like a blog. How about, I've heard how links in are so important to getting traffic and, of course, getting a better rating on Google. And if you get up on the first or second page of a Google search, well, that's money in the pocket, too.
And that's really what I base almost all of my marketing on, Ron, is getting links, and getting good, relevant links. And I like to get them from blogs because Google recognizes blogs, and I think you mentioned that, but Google recognizes blogs more often and quicker than they do websites. And so I'll give you a good example. I've put up brand new pages on one of my websites, maybe a new article, let's say the article is about Myrtle Beach travel. We have to mention that for our South Carolina. But say on Myrtle Beach travel, and then I'll get that page indexed in most cases within 2 days in Google. If you go the traditional route and just submit that page to Google, it will take you anywhere from, I don't really know an exact number on this, but I know it's generally from 30 to 90 days, depending on how long it takes Google to actually look at it.
I see. So what you're saying then is Google likes articles because articles gives information to visitors, and visitors come to a certain shop, so to speak. If
Right.
they're looking for spike heels or something, they won't go to Walmart for that. Oh, excuse me, Walmart. Maybe you maybe you have those kind of shoes. But anyway, we find that the visitor goes there and Google says, well, you use our service, we like you, and we're going to make sure that you get relevant information, and if this person is not giving that, we're not going to recognize him. I don't know how they do that, but they have that ability. And the idea for you then is, well, we have these articles that are relevant, and we will place them in these blogs, and you understand then and have found out that Google likes blogs in preference to, say, a regular website, because there's more of a generic and organic discussion there about the particular subject that that blog represents. So you found yourself a good home, and if you're doing a good job in submitting articles that are relevant, you're going to get links back from those articles because, presto, in the article is Bob Pardue's address, depending on which website, which of his 33 different websites he is mentioning there at the tagline at the bottom of the article. So it's all one large network, and if you work it right, there will be traffic into your website, and of course the articles on the blog. There will be AdSense, and of course Google pays for visitors according to, again, the relativity of the importance of the ad itself. So again, we have a photo is the kind of the essence, the centerfold of a website that doesn't have to be very complicated or pretty. It just simply has to be relevant, so to speak. And it's certainly going to be relevant if the major photos in that website pertain to the subject matter that the person is looking for. It sounds very complicated. Maybe marketing 109 or something.
Put up articles, get links to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's almost that simple. This is what I use in a big part of I have some articles written for me because I like some to be totally original. I found these to be much more profitable than going out to the free article sites and bringing articles by other people. Plus, that sort of takes away from your being the expert in the area. So that's just a little tidbit I wanted to add.
All right. Well, Bob Pardue from down in Lancaster, South Carolina, many thanks. And we're going to follow this. Next time we interview, we hope you have double the 33 amount of websites you already have earning AdSense revenue from there.
Thanks a lot, Ron.
Good. Have a good evening, Bob.
You too.